So this clip here is the freezing of the Minnesota. Can you tell us what this clip is, Rob?
Yes, this is Minnesota State Representative Kristen Robbins. She talks about Tim Walz and his team actually being proactive in threatening to expose people as racist and Islamophobic if they expose any type of Somalian fraud in Minnesota.
And who is she?
She is a state representative for the state of Minnesota.
And she's over the fraud committee. And so she's actually in my YouTube video talking about the fraud.
She's in the part 2 YouTube video? Or?
Yeah, her graphs that I showed in my first video are from her. So she connected all the dots.
Yeah, she's the Minnesota Fraud Prevention Committee chair.
Okay, got it. Go for it.
Absolutely. We have dozens of credible whistleblower reports saying that exact same thing, that people were told not to say anything because they'd be called racist or Islamophobic or it would hurt the state. And so people tried to come forward but were shut down. And that protection of a particular community is what really allowed this fraud to flourish in Minnesota for years. But we have said very publicly that, yes, the bulk of the fraud we've discovered so far is in the Somali community, but some of our best whistleblowers are also in the Somali community. And it's really important that we get to the truth of this issue. And so by failing to call it out, we allowed it to continue, and that has hurt Minnesotans tremendously, taxpayers and our vulnerable citizens.
Have you spoken to her at all?
Yeah.
You have?
I spoke with her at the fraud committee meeting.
This recent time when you went back, or the first time?
The first time.
Oh, the video at the end where you and the young African-American man are going.
So she gave a speech, that lady at the fraud committee, and then that lady who I confronted, she was like, how are we going to build trust within our communities if we're talking about this? And I was like, all right, we're going to confront that lady.
Yeah, that was very interesting at the end. So this is the
there's
end.
Kristen Robbins right there in that red, right there.
Okay, so that's her.
Yeah.
So this is it. We're at the end of this. Rob, you want to play this? Go back play it from right here, Rob.
Republican representative showed charts showing exactly how this fraud has been committed and who is profiting and connecting all the dots. And while the Democrat representatives looked into the abyss, one of them spoke about how none of this is building trust and how this is a nonpartisan issue. So I went and confronted her after that.
Yes, but
He has some very valid questions to ask about what's going on here in Minnesota. And do you think this fraud
I don't know who
crosses?
you are.
My name's Nick Shirley. Do you think this fraud is Republican or Democrat, or just facts that fraud is happening?
I think the fact that
Because
you're talking about it as a partisan issue.
Well, because that's what I heard you talking about.
I know what I said is that
because
what we're talking about is...
we want to build trust, but fraud is fraud. So why should we be enabling fraud to happen here?
No, I don't think anybody is enabling fraud to happen.
When are you going to hold Governor Walz accountable for this?
Okay, sir.
No. This is not.
Sir.
When are you going to hold Governor Walz? No. She is a representative for the state of Minnesota. Yes or no?
Excuse me?
Yes. Are you?
If you're going to talk to me like that...
Are you going to say to her, I'm a disability advocate,
I heard you, and
you
got a chance to testify.
Thank you for testifying today.
No.
Ma'am, the facts are the facts that fraud is happening here, and it's not a nonpartisan issue. How come you think fraud has been able to happen so much underneath?
I think if you've
government
been
here.
listening to our hearings, we've had now 10 hearings on this. And so there's really good data from the people who both work within the administration as well as who, both Democrat and Republicans. I think what you heard today is that the Republicans who control this committee are not actually interested in solving fraud. What they're interested in is telling a story.
This fraud has happened underneath Democrat leader Tim Walz.
There has been Medicaid fraud across the country under Democrats and Republicans. There's fraud within the Trump administration. We have is fraud. Private providers have made government a mark. And so every person running government, Democrats or Republicans, are dealing with the issue of how to keep fraudsters out of our public payment. We're also dealing with veterans. We're dealing with consumers. I hope you're looking at that. If you look at United Health, currently is being charged with defrauding Medicare. You know who runs Medicare? President Trump. Medicaid fraud is a 50-state issue. And so, again, it is not a partisan issue. There are Democrats and Republicans who are sitting in that committee talking about it. But what you did here was the Republican chair say she's not turning information over to the one person in government who can stop payment. And I hope you print that.
Thank you for coming today.
Okay. Well, you saw what happened.
You can pause it right there. I mean, you see that. How do you process that afterwards when you hear her saying that?
I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you just try to blame it on Trump? Like, can you not admit fraud? She literally admitted fraud was taking place right there. They all know fraud is happening in Minnesota. So why didn't they stop it?
Yeah, I don't know. By the way, this is the poll on where are we at on the poll with the podcast? Oh, wow. At 12,000, it's still at 49%. Well, let me go to X. Look what X is. X is even higher. The people on X are even more skeptical than YouTube. 63.7% think nothing's going to happen. 16% think he's going to get reelected. Only 7.5% think he's going to go to jail. On YouTube, 15% think he's going to go to jail. On X, 12.8% think he's going to resign. On YouTube, 23% think he's going to resign. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen here, but the reality of it is he's exposed. What the U.S. government, have you spoken to anybody and asked them the question of what the U.S. government has the power to do to Waltz and how that speed is going to be? Is it a slow process? Have you asked anybody these questions of what can happen to Waltz?
Not specifically about Waltz, but I've asked him, like, how come, like, in the federal government, when we talk about, like, what's happening inside our states, why can't we just go in and solve the fentanyl issue, for instance? And pretty much this, like, we're seeing how much power states actually have inside the government when Trump wants to go and clean up a state for crime.
Right.
And governors block it.
Yeah.
So you're seeing, like, how judges can quite literally block and postpone stuff so long to the point where a lot of stuff just doesn't even happen, or sometimes people probably get discouraged to the point it's like, why even try? And so, like I said before, I think they're just going to have to come up with a case that's so solidified that when the evidence is provided, that they can't even, there's no debate for it. But what's worrisome is in Minnesota, they found a man guilty of $7 million in fraud. He was found guilty. The judge then reversed it after he had been found guilty. So, like, they're all in on this fraud. Like, when have you ever seen somebody get committed for $7 million of fraud and then walk free after he was committed?
This is the one right here. Minnesota judge slammed for overturning conviction of a pair
conviction.
involved in Medicaid fraud.
Yes.
And this is yesterday. This is 2 days ago. Go a little bit lower, Rob. So
$7 million.
How much is just $7 million? Yeah, right there. A judge in Minnesota is currently facing back for overturning a conviction of over $7 million of a couple who were found guilty of misusing Medicaid funds to fund a rich lifestyle. Oh, Rob, is this the one with the cars and the houses and the travel and the luxury homes, or is that a different story?
That's a separate story, but same fraud, same type of fraud, just different people, different perpetrators that were doing it.
So this is not the same people.
No.
And where are they from that did this? Abdifa Yosef. Sounds like an American name. So if you want to see where our friend here is from, Abdifa,
And
go
look
to
at
images.
the judges. It's like, why would she overturn that?
I don't think that's him.
Former Al-Shabaab recruit turned witness to face deportation. Go back to that one right there. You found something interesting. Click on that. What date is that? Oh, that's 10 years ago. Former Twin City man who joined terror group in Somalia, later became a star witness for the United States government, will be released from prison on Thursday.
I would not be surprised if that's the same man.
If this is the same man.
Like,
but he isn't a free man. So Abdifa Yosef Asi is the first person to finish serving time for a terror-related charge as part of his expansive federal investigation to Al-Shabaab recruitment in Twin Cities. Because he is not a U.S. citizen, has been convicted of felony, federal immigration enforcement officials took him to custody Thursday and into removal proceedings, said Ben Patak, said an immigration judge will hear. Rob, do you have the other story of the folks who used the money to, let's see if I got it here. There you go. So Minnesota scammers spent kids' food aid on luxury cars, jewelry. This is December 12th, News Nation story. If you have it, there you go. That's the one right there.
This is feeding our future.
Yeah.
This is feeding our future. Yeah. Text messages recovered by investigators depict individuals flaunting their wealth, including one photo showcasing a box containing $250,000 in cash. They used this money that was supposed to be used for feeding children to buy houses in Minnesota, resort property, and real estate in Kenya and Turkey, luxury cars, commercial property, jewelry, and much more. Former U.S. Attorney Andrew Luger said when announcing the indictments in September 2022. I mean, this is just insane at this point. And investigators also uncovered evidence of international money transfers with millions wired to accounts in China and Kenya. One text message instructed, please send $1,000 to Mogadishu, Bakara, referring to a market in Somalia previously controlled by Al-Shabaab, an Al-Qaeda affiliate. The location was also the site of the 1993 Black Hawk Down incident in which 18 U.S. service members were killed. Are you kidding me?
Like we're funneling money and sending money to people who literally hate us.
I don't know, man.
I'm Nick Shirley, and you guys can find me here on Connect. Go ahead and ask me any questions, whether it be about politics, about what I believe, or where I think the future of the country will be going, or just quite frankly, anything. You can ask me here on Connect. I really appreciate all your support, and I can't wait to answer your questions.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.